Scotty panic. Jordan Walker is dealing with a right shoulder strain. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. Today is Monday, March 13th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White, and let's talk about it. Jordan Walker exited Saturday's spring training game with a right shoulder strain. The team called it precautionary. Walker said it's, quote, no big deal, and he actually took batting practice on Sunday. Scott, what are your thoughts here on Jordan Walker's injury and what it might do for his ADP now that he's consistently going inside the top 150?
Well, it does seem like the injury's no big deal, right? I certainly raised concern. Shoulder strain, that sounds like the potential to be a pretty significant injury. But they wouldn't have let him take batting practice Sunday if that's how they felt it was. I'm pretty confident saying that. And I think he's supposed to be back in the lineup this week. So I'm not sure it should change our approach to him at all. I'm not sure it disrupts his chances of making the roster, which seems more and more likely, by the way. So I've moved him up to 137th in my rankings for Roto Leagues, and I intend to keep him there unless we hear something else.
All right, fair enough. That is Jordan Walker. Let's talk about another young prospect. Andrew Painter was officially diagnosed with a UCL sprain and will be shut down from throwing for 4 weeks. More bad news for the Phillies as Ranger Suarez was brought back from the WBC due to left forearm tightness. Scott, we mentioned the name before, but it seems like Bailey Falter will be in the rotation and somebody else could potentially be as the fifth starter as well. How are you handling all of this Phillies news?
I kind of like Falter in a deeper league sense. I think there are clear limits to his upside, but he had an impressive past couple years in the minors, and even the stretch we saw him in the majors to end last season. His final 10 starts, Bailey Falter had a 3 ERA, even 45 strikeouts of 51 innings, only 7 walks, so good control. He could matter in a deeper league sense, maybe as a matchups play in 12-team leagues. As for Andrew Painter, I think this takes him out of the redraft discussion entirely because of where the strain is in the UCL, like the side of the UCL that it's on. I think there is a lot of optimism that he'll be able to avoid surgery and just rest and rehab. And maybe we see him later this season, but not early enough that he'll be worth stashing in the meantime.
Joe Musgrove threw a bullpen session on Saturday, and per Kevin Audacy of the San Diego Union Tribune, Musgrove is targeting a season debut against the Braves on April 6th. If that's the case, he'll only miss one start in the rotation, and probably means we should get him back inside of our top 25 starting pitchers, right, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. There's still a chance of a setback because I don't think that injury is going to be healed. It's still a pain tolerance issue, but they're optimistic he will be able to tolerate it and not miss much time. So yeah, Musgrove shouldn't be discounted for much longer.
All right, we got some good news for borderline first-round picks. Yordan Alvarez took swings in the batting cage Friday and then hit soft toss on Sunday. All reports say that he felt good dealing with that hand inflammation. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. felt good after running the bases Sunday. He'll do so again on Monday before the team reevaluates his return to game action. Vlad has been slowed down by knee inflammation. 2 outfielders dealing with oblique strain, Scotty. Harrison Bader will miss approximately 6 weeks, and Mitch Haniger, diagnosed with a grade 1 oblique strain, says he still could be ready for opening day, but that seems pretty optimistic in my mind. Is there anybody on either the Yankees or Giants that you are moving up draft boards as a result?
I've always been pretty interested in Oswaldo Cabrera of the Yankees, who got some playing time in the outfield for them down the stretch last year, some power, some speed. I liked him more than Aaron Hicks, and I wasn't sure how they were going to distribute time between the two of them. And now it sounds like there's going to be room for both of them. But that is more of like a deeper 5 outfielder league play. Mitch Haniger looked like one of the true everyday players that they had, one of the few. So it doesn't sound like his absence is going to be longer, if at all. I'm not sure I'd change much there with my expectation for the Giants lineup.
Last but not least, we did get that news on Carlos Rodon's forearm injury late last week. There were 25 drafts over at the NFBC this weekend. Rodon's ADP was 93.4 as the SP23 off the board. So just to kind of give you some perspective on where Rodon is going post-injury. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.